Golair, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind. On Slice 17 this week, I have the crack with two stars of Loughgiel and Antrim camogie in Eimear Boyle and Christine Laverty. We chat everything from winning 7 in a row, Christine's red card against Ballycastle, the toughest opponents they've faced, and answering the ultimate question: how good can Roisin McCormack play after eating curry chips the night before a game? This and much more with the two legends. But first, as is tradition on the podcast, let's take a quick trip through the girls' home of Loughgiel and through County Antrim. Bon Sultas.
With pen and pad it makes me glad as I write this verse or two about our native district that's one place in a few. It is a real-life fairyland and has so much appeal. No wonder that they call it our lovely sweet Loughgiel.
Tarbert's finest poet, Tomás O'Dowd, reading Our Lovely Sweet Loughgiel by Thomas Kinney. This week our journey takes us from Katie Heffernan's home of Turin in County Westmeath, up north across the provinces and to the beauty of County Antrim. Loughgiel, or Loughuila, as it has historically been called, is a village of about 450 people or so in the north of County Antrim, near to the famous Glens of Antrim. The Glens, as they are locally known, is one of Ireland's most amazing natural beauty sources, located around the areas of Ballycastle, Cushenden, Cushendall and Glenarm, among others. These 9 valleys, or 10 depending on whether Glenravel counts in the eyes of the locals, not only provide a major tourist attraction, but also provide a huge source of Ireland's Neolithic times, particularly at the famous Madman's Window. Indeed, those of a rugby persuasion may be familiar with the mention of the Glens in the mostly unsung second verse of the famous Ireland's Call, which is used at the home rugby internationals. The song was used from 95 onwards as a way of trying to bridge the major divide between religious beliefs in the north and in the south during the Troubles period. Loughuila itself means the narrow lake. The Cronug, which sits in the lake, was once a pre-execution jail for prisoners in the area before they met their fate at Tulloch na Cria, or Gallows Hill, nearby. The castle at the lake, Lissanore, was a central location for many Earls of Ulster and Seneschals of Ulster. Having visited County Meath on a few occasions on Loaf 1 of the podcast, the area of Seneschalstown has come up before. For those who may not have known, a Seneschal was a steward or a high-ranking person in the past. Indeed, Lissanore Castle was home to the Ulster Seneschals in the 14th century and beyond. In modern times, the area was used as a training base during World War II for the D-Day landings by American soldiers, and also as a prisoner of war or POW camp for interned Germans who were captured, often from the submarines. Today the area is run by the Mackey family as a farm and tree plantation, among other things. Nearby, Slievenora Mountain provides wonderful views into County Derry on one side and the islands of western Scotland on the other. Coming into Loughgiel itself, the Pound is the local pub for many and has been a traditional location for the quarterly fairs that used to take place. The name of the pub itself comes from the fact that many loose cattle were often impounded here. Tradition continues where the keeper of the pound would break a stick, known as a tally stick. Part of the stick was kept, and the other part was given to the person who saved the livestock. The owner would then have to agree a release fee, and when all parties were satisfied, the keeper would match the 2 broken stick pieces together as a contract. As for the GAA side of things, Loughgiel Shamrocks was founded off the back of a history of the game in the area. Around the 1830s, hurling is mentioned as a game essentially played by the Catholic community. In the early 20th century, it was people like Dan Dempsey, John and James McAleese, and Edward McCormack who organised the early games against nearby sides like Cushenden, Carey and Dalriada. Most were played on the local fields in the area, ironically all surrounding the current club home of Father Healy Memorial Park. Teams at the time were 17 a side, with the points post being to the side of the goals, much like a modern day AFL game. In 1915, Loughgiel Shamrocks came to be with the work done by Eddie and Harry Connolly among others. The club's opening successes were in 1919 and 1920 when they won the North Antrim League. 1920 also saw the club win the county title. In the coming years, the team would continue to be successful, barring one year when they did not travel to the North Antrim final after the death of a mother of 3 of the players. By the mid-1920s, local priest Father John Healy was one of the club's main followers and members. The game had gone from 17-a-side to 13-a-side and then to the traditional 15-a-side. Father Healy was born a stone's throw from the current pitch today. After his passing, the club began the process of attempting to secure permanent playing areas, and on the 25th of May 1955, Father Healy Memorial Park officially opened. It wasn't plain sailing to that point though. The farm purchased from local woman Bridget McAleese still needed huge work to get it ready for playing, but in true GAA style, the community rallied and everything was put in place through sheer determination and volunteerism. And like many, this volunteerism continued through the coming decades, with dressing rooms and other facilities being installed and some serious fundraising efforts going on behind the scenes. But as the saying goes, you reap what you sow, and the 1960s saw the start of a hugely successful period for the club. The title in 63 was followed by a 3 in a row from 66 to 68. The 1970 and 71 titles would also come their way. In 82, the club's senior hurlers and minors completed a double for the first time. But things didn't stop there, and the following year, 1983, an Ulster Championship success led to the chance to take on Tip and Munster champions Moycarkey Boris. Incredibly, despite a terrible start, Loughgiel stunned the favourites by 2-7 to 1-6. The other semi-final between Offaly champions St Rynagh's and Kiltormer of Galway had its own dispute going on in the background, but eventually when Loughgiel found out, they travelled to Croke Park to take on the men from the Faithful. A tense game finished level, but there was no doubting the determination of the Saffron County men, and they took the replay by a small margin of 2-12 to 1-12. Incredibly, they remained the only Ulster winners ever of the title. Among those names on the score sheet that day you will see the name Laverty appear, a relative of Christine's. Loughgiel would repeat the feat in 2012, defeating another Offaly side in Coolderry by 4-13 to 17 points. Incredibly, 3-7 of that score was notched by forward Liam Watson on the day. On the camogie side, the ladies of Loughgiel have a roll of honours that many a club would give their left arm for. Their first senior title came in 1947, and the club has continued the tradition of winning titles in every single decade since. Added to that are titles in Féile Division 1, county titles at junior, intermediate, minor, and more than 20 titles at under 16 level, but to name a few. The rise of camogie in the county is certainly down to the likes of the Loughgiel ladies. In September 2020, Loughgiel showed their continued dominance with an incredible 7th title in a row against Ballycastle. They had 9 points to spare in the end. Standing between the sticks that day was one Eimear Boyle, and up the other end at full forward was one Christine Laverty. Eimear would have kept a clean sheet too, except for the late consolation score by Ballycastle forward Nuala Devlin, when the others around her appeared to have switched off with the game in the bag. But it certainly is onwards and upwards for the ladies in Loughgiel. And so with that, let's meet the two poor souls who got roped into Slice 17, Loughgiel's goalkeeper Eimear Boyle and forward Christine Laverty. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, well.
Not too bad, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make this full screen. There we go. Hang on it. Stupid Zoom. How...
We should all be experts at it by now.
Yeah, you'd think being on to the kids all day long would help. Oh, there we go. Yeah. How's all up in? I probably pronounced it wrong because I had some of the girls on last week, and they were for all the world to me they were from Crosserlough, but I got told straight away it was Crisserlough, so I went right. So and I better make sure I'm Loughgiel. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like I've been up there loads of times. Like I've driven past it and through it many times, but yeah, I've never actually bothered to stop and pronounce it, I suppose. So
it's not a very big space. It's not a lot in it.
There's not much in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, we did go up the north a bit, all right. And I used to have family up in Whitehead, the far side of Belfast. So we used to go. Yeah, I've been up your way a few times. I've gone to the Dark Hedges a few times. Been a big Game of Thrones fan as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's
literally up around there.
That's literally all I found, to be honest. There wasn't a whole lot else.
No, fields and fields.
You drive through Loughgiel and there's about two hurling pitches and a chippy, and that's about the height of it.
Yeah, that looked like it was about it. Yeah. Yeah, look, thanks so much for coming on. Look, yeah, the kind of question I start with everybody was, Christine, I suppose I'll ask you first. Who were your main GAA influences growing up, at home or outside?
Probably, I would say it would be more my family. From no age, you were out, running about with a stick in your hand, tapping about and stuff. Probably biggest one would have been my daddy. I originally lived in Ballycastle, only for maybe 4 or 5 years, and that's where he's from. But I remember him coming in, on Sunday morning, being like, right, grab your helmet, your stick, I'm going to take you to camogie training up in Loughgiel. So then we'd be on up the road to training, and I was clean buzzing. But no, from it would all kind of be from home, and then I've obviously I have 3 sisters. 2 of them are on the senior team along with me, so it's all very family orientated, and it's all within the family. We're all big camogie players, and yeah.
Yeah, I know when I was looking at I'm fairly familiar anyway with plenty of the names up there, but yeah, when I saw so many Lavertys, it was like, you must be related, first of all, is what I thought, and then I went, oh, is it fun playing on the same team, or is it when if you get beaten, you come home and start knocking lumps out of each other, blaming each other, or?
No, we're not really like that. I suppose if we get beat, everybody deals with it quite differently. Kira, she'd be the next in age to me. She's 4 years younger than me. She deals with it completely differently to Orla. She's 6 years younger than me. Orla would take it very, very to heart and very personal, so you don't really go near her whenever if there's anything goes wrong. But everybody deals with it differently, but winning alongside them, it's class. There's no feeling like it. Yeah. And this year was the first year that all 3 of us were playing in the county final, and just to have all of us there. And this year, I suppose, for the county final, it was a bit tougher. Some years, it's not been as tough, and it's been easy enough for us, I think you could maybe say. But each year's been getting tougher, and this year especially. It was great to have them 2 alongside me. And then I have another sister. She's pushing there too. I think 2-3 years down the line, she'll be there as well. But I've been told that I'm not allowed to quit until all 4 of us are on that team.
You couldn't. You couldn't leave. Yeah, you definitely couldn't leave. Yeah, yeah, proper family affair. Yeah, that's deadly. Eimear, what about you?
I know.
Yeah, Eimear, who's your?
Influences?
Yeah,
we'd be family as well. Yeah. The houses all revolved around the club. Like, mum washes the jerseys, dad on the committee, does the gates, the brother plays, the sister plays. It's kind of everything's about the GAA in this house, really.
Yeah.
Then the club's always been so big as well. Like, we went through primary school with the club losing championship finals. The hurlers, they lost with 6 in a row. And then in 2010 they won the first one. It was great. We would have been about 12 at the time, Christine. We were kind of like at that age where you were just taking it all in. It was amazing, and obviously went on to have like a load of good seasons after that with the All Ireland and all as well. So yeah, it's just kind of where we're at. It's all the house is just all about the club. Yeah.
Were you speaking of primary school? Are you St. Patrick's or St. Anne's?
Oh, we were St. Patrick's. We were the good ones.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's good. Yeah, no, my school I teach in is St. Patrick's in Dublin as well. So yeah, I was just wondering which you were. Yeah, I presume they're the better school. No offense to St. Anne's if they're listening, but I presume St. Patrick's are better. Yeah.
Oh well,
we're going to say that anyway.
Yeah. You don't have a choice, I suppose. Yeah, you're going to say that. Yeah. Yeah. What did I suppose for maybe some people who listen maybe don't know too much about the club, it's still. The men's side is still the only one that has ever won an All-Ireland senior hurling club title twice. I think it was 83 and 2012.
83 in 2012, yeah.
What did that do for the club in general? Or?
Oh, there's a lot of nights out where that one gets pulled out of the bag for a bit of slag.
Yeah.
That is, it's used very often.
And even within the club, there'd be a bit of rivalry between the camogiers and the hurlers. That like the camogiers are doing really well at the minute. Like we've won 7 championships in a row now, but there's always that the hurlers will always be like, oh well, we have the big one, we have it twice. Like so, there's always that bit of flagging going on between.
It's always that I'd give up, or I bet you'd give all those championship medals for the one I've got, basically.
Sounds about right.
So, so we really need to chase that big one so we can get one up on them then.
I was gonna ask as well. Christina's left us, has she? She had enough. Jeez, it must have been really annoyed her. I'll ask you, Eimear, while I'm waiting for her to come back in. There she is. So hang on, we'll let her back in. It'd be nice. Hopefully she gets back in here.
Oh, she
maybe had enough.
Yeah. They all say that. Yeah, they all say that. You just leave and then think, I'll just scroll back in again.
No, I got these new AirPods things, and I fixed it in my ear, and I was like, oh dear.
Oh yeah, no, they all say that. Yeah. That's 20 laps of training, definitely. Yeah. I was just saying, Eimear, I was going to ask you, you probably don't, I suppose, since you're still chasing the big one, but do you ever just like kind of, is it going through the motions winning county at this stage, or is like Ballycastle and them still their biggest rivals? Or
go on ahead.
Well, this year was the first year we were beating Antrim, and how many years was it, Christine? And that
about 6 to 7, yeah.
It was needed, to be honest. Like the hunger's still there and you still want to do it, but you kind of don't realise until you lose a match. We were lucky enough, our championship, the format changed this year, that we still had that wasn't us out, that was just the round of the championship, but that kind of gave everyone like the shake they needed to kind of buck up, and you could definitely tell the motivation was still there. And then winning the championship this year it was nearly like it was your first one. Like it was still the feeling still great.
What were you going to say, Christine? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Eimear has probably been involved with as many as I have. I think I've been involved in maybe 6 of the 7 championships that we've won, but I maybe started on 4 of them. But this year, definitely, like it felt like it was the first one that you'd ever won. I've never felt as hungry going out to play a final, or then after, like there's no feeling like it. And I think even with the year that it had been, that you didn't know if you were even at the start of this year if you were going to have a championship final to go out. And nearly, I think everybody then, after we got beat this year in the championship in the round robin, people thought, this lucky, or like, they're on their way out, basically they've hit their peak. And just even to go out and prove everybody wrong, and be like, no, we're still knocking at the door. We're still here.
You've clearly still got a lot of hunger anyway. Your hunger is still there, and particularly, I suppose, Christine, it's been there for a while. 2016, you took some offence to a Niamh Donnelly tackle in a match. Oh yes.
You've done your work.
I know these things. Don't worry, I know these things.
The championship debut went well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
that was. You've obviously done your work. Oh my word! No, I remember that so clearly. Like that was my first ever championship match, and I remember like that whole day. I was so riled up, even like the week coming up to it, and like people asking, are you excited? Are you like you're buzzing? You're starting. And I was like, I finally made this team, and I was quite young at the time too. I think it was my first year of uni. I think maybe only been 18, I think, at the stage, and like even that whole day I was so tense, and actually I think I was doing not too bad, the first 5-10 minutes that I was on.
And then
and I think I got like a hit, and I think I just played Mo, and that was that.
What actually happened? What did Niamh Donnelly do to provoke you? Or?
I think I just got from memory I was like I fell, and I think I got a slap, but like nothing that any other match any other day I would have been grand, and I think I just got up and just played Mo. But And I remember like thinking at the time, oh, maybe it's only a yellow, and I watched it back and I was like, nope, clear as day, red card all day long.
That's brilliant. Yeah. No,
that was the first card I'd ever got to. I'd never had a yellow card or a red card in my life. And I remember just crying though, and it was the Lammas Fair too at that time, and I remember just going to the Lammas Fair, the big thing, you know, in Ballycastle, and I remember going down to the Lammas Fair that night, just distraught that this had happened, and it's like, then I suppose that was me. I'd finally made the team, and I was like, that's my chance out the window now. Like that's me 3-match ban basically. I'm never going to get back in this team. But then that was the year that Loughgiel actually went to the replay in the Ulster final, so it meant then my match ban was up. I think my last match was the championship final in Antrim. So then I think I got on in the Ulster final and then started the replay. So it was okay.
you got there in the end eventually. Yeah, by the sound.
I made my way back on anyway.
Yeah. And what's it like then on the county side working with is Paul McKillen and Jim McKiernan? Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh.
This year has been brilliant. I suppose any other year before we've really struggled for numbers. But this year has been like a breath of fresh air. Like I've loved county.
It's been so relaxed too. Like it's like nothing we're ever used to. Like like Django comes into the change rooms and he's just like, oh, it's great. Everyone's having the crack, and oh, it's great to see. Like whereas like we'd always been more used to more kind of serious setup. Whereas like everyone's so focused, so like mentally preparation all this year. So it's nice to have like the difference with the county, and because as well, I think with the seasons way it was split up this year that there was no club in the middle of it all. Like everyone, like any kind of tensions that would be there between like the clubs in Antrim, you know, that was all set aside and everyone was just there for the county, and it was great crack.
Yeah. Do you think intermediate is kind of where Antrim are at the moment in camogie, or do you think you want the shot against the big ones?
I think intermediate definitely. I suppose that our final against Down, it showed we've a lot of work to do, and I think we need to do the same, you know, as what Down done. Give it a good couple of 3 years, everyone digging in, everybody committing to the cause. But like if you look at us this time last year, like I was going to trainings and you were struggling for.
There were no numbers for matches.
You were asking anybody, you know, messages were going into club group chats, you know, can somebody come, anybody come fill this team? So to look at where we've come from last year to this year, it's such a big improvement. So, you know, hopefully a year, 2 years down the line, we'll be where Down is.
It probably doesn't help you, I suppose.
Though it was hard hearing that
off as well. Yeah.
that was a one time.
It'd be handy if you just kept 15 players on the pitch. Yeah, that'd be very handy. Yeah, and it's
just keeps things interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a name that's come up an awful lot is Roisin McCormack's name comes up an awful lot. It's the fact she seems to come up for scoring like 2-9 and 2 something in every game. Is she just very good, or does she just need to pass the ball a little bit more?
She just needs to pass that ball a bit more.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's everyone else that makes her look good.
Okay. We'll make sure and tag her in this so she can hear.
No, Roisin is like, I'm just very, very glad we've got her on our team. She is first class. Like,
her touch and everything, like she just, Though we can't bum her up too much. That head will get much bigger.
She'll not get through the doors. But, her in our county final for the club this year, like she was just unbelievable. She got the first goal, and like it was just like it's exactly what we had needed. And I think maybe she got like 1-3 or 1-4. I think, you know, really very, very quickly.
She was unstoppable that day.
Completely. And I remember her Snapchatting me the night before, of like her eating this chippy, and I was like, Roisin, what are you doing? Like, eat something healthy, not a big dirty cheese and curry.
It obviously worked. It worked for her pretty well. Like she,
well, you know, but no, she's full of crack as well. Like there's nobody quite like her.
Okay,
she's someone else.
I'll take that. So yeah, Eimear, I suppose you're stuck between the sticks in many ways. No more than myself when I used to play football years ago. Do you find that? Is there a particular person that you have to shouting at all the time in front of you to cop on, or is it just in general you're shouting at everybody?
You try and keep everyone right, but
there's surely a Laverty there somewhere in the back line that you can shout at her.
Was it one of our county games this year, Christine, when you came up and you were floating around the back line somewhere, and like I was
that was club, yep.
And I was like, Christine, do this, and I was like, what are you doing here? and she was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I think that was against Dunloy. It was in Dunloy, and I remember standing. Dunloy's getting quite close to us, and I think we were panicking a bit. And I think they were taking maybe like a 21-yard free or something, and we knew they were going to go low.
Was it Maeve Conley? Was like
she shouted at me, "Oh, they're on the line, Christine!" And I remember just looking around me like, I don't really want to do that.
And I'm thinking, if you let this go in by me and make me look bad, you're in for killing.
You actually, Eimear, speaking of goals, you saved a penno against Crisserlaw, wasn't it, in 2018 or 19? I didn't mention it to the girls when they were on the other week, but that was a good time to mention it now, isn't it?
I mean, that day I think our hurlers were playing maybe the championship semi-final or that in Ballycastle, so there were very few. That was over in Loughgiel. There were very, very few there. That was probably one of my better games that I probably ever played, because Crosserlock had beat us the year before in the Ulster final. I'm sure you just chatted about that, but so it was kind of out that day to prove a point that, you know, we were coming back to beat them. I think we were maybe like a point up or 2 points up, and they had got the penalty near the end of the second half, and oh god, if there was 20 people at the pitch that day, there wasn't many. But like the penalty was saved, and there was some like wee van sitting behind the net, like started blaring the horn, and I was like, oh well, at least we have some supporters. No, they didn't actually. I don't think the girls mentioned it. The main thing I remember from that is just been told that it's Crisserlaw, not Crosserlock, as I was saying, down here in Mullingar. So yeah, I learned my. We always would have called them Crosserlock as well, so we've been doing it wrong too.
Yeah, that was my lesson for that school day for sure. Definitely. We say the four counties that got to the Premier Junior and Intermediate finals in camogie were all Ulster counties. Is it just such a big thing up there that you're just on the rise more and more, and people maybe aren't noticing as much? Yeah,
it's a thing as well. Especially like sometimes when you come up against some of the southern teams, there would be that bit of kind of like stigma that like the northern teams aren't going to be as strong or whatever, and then you kind of feel like you have to go out and you're proving a point, and it kind of gives you that extra push on. Definitely.
Yeah, you definitely notice with some counties there's it's not a disrespect kind of, but you know, like small things like this year we had to go. Who was it we were playing, Eimear? It was meant to be a home game, and then it was changed to we then had to travel further for a home game, and we had to go over the border.
Did you go to Monaghan, or was it further? Was that another game?
Yeah, no, that was Monaghan. We played a lot of our games there then in the end.
And we had to go down over the border, and because basically they wouldn't come up because of COVID reasons, but yeah, it was okay for us to go down. Home game kind of thing, so we had that kind of too this year, that, you know, like we're having to travel here too, and we deserve a home game as much as anybody. We definitely had that in the back of our minds that, you know, on a Thursday when we thought we were going to be playing at home in Randallstown, we were actually getting told, no, we have to get ready to go on Saturday down to Monaghan, and it's hard, especially with ones that are working and having to, like, maybe if there's people working on a Saturday that has to get that changed and have to prepare for matches, then, you know, so we had that kind of in our heads then, that we need to go out and prove a point, that you can't be treated like that, I suppose. But
so you went out and just beat the shit out of whoever's in front of you.
I think those at the start too, a few of the teams maybe weren't gonna think, because of what Antrim obviously was the year before, and they weren't expecting a while off us. I think we were definitely the underdogs coming through, and maybe surprised quite a few teams.
But a lot of the time that suits us as well.
Yeah.
To go in underdogs, definitely, yeah.
And do you think as a county, I know Down was maybe a bit of a blip, we'll call it, a 12-point defeat isn't quite normal for you in general. So do you feel like you're long overdue the big title again, or?
Well,
definitely.
To be honest, Down was, they were something else on the day. Like they had everything right, and they were just, their fitness and their strength, like, yeah, you have to hand it to him. Credit where credit's due. They were very, very good.
There was a Laverty in that team as well, I think, on the Down team. You didn't have words with her beforehand. Yeah, you didn't figure out where she lives or anything, or, you know.
Do you want to come join us?
No, Down had that much more experience. Like, we're still a very young team, but there was that many ones telling us that like that night after we lost, and the next day, and like, I mean, after losing all in the final, that doesn't help you then.
Yeah.
Like, you're maybe all right in like a week or two after, but like hearing that night, like, oh, I guess I'm still young, you will be back. You're like, oh, and because you couldn't really go anywhere either because of the whole COVID, you were stuck in the house. Like, oh, no one's mentioned anything to me.
Yeah, you're like, just leave me alone.
Me and Eimear were. We came up the road on the bus then after that match, and the two of us were kind of like sitting, and we were like, we tried to get stopped an off license, and then we couldn't get stopped, so there was somebody who had drank on the bus, so we had like a couple of glasses of Prosecco, and then we got to the cart, you know, and we were like, frigate, so we were like, right, well, WKD and vodka here, let's try and help us a bit. And then, like, you're getting off the bus and you just went home, and I was like, what was the point?
It was a very depressing journey. Someone had brought the Prosecco, like, in case we had won, like, celebrating. So we just, like, because that was the only stuff on the bus, we were like, well, we might as well drink it. And then we got off at the Carrick deal, and of course Down were eating in the Carrick deal as well that night. Their supporters were lined up either side, and they kind of clapped us in, and it was like, it was a very awkward like couple of minutes, like, oh, get us in and get us to the bar as soon as possible.
You were just waiting to break the Prosecco bottle over their heads probably on the way in. So
you were nearly
thought it would be frowned upon.
You were nearly walking in with your mask like over your head or over your eyes, like
staring at the ground.
Yeah. And have you? I suppose you've had we won't talk about the bad nights. What's the good nights been in the Pound or the Glen or wherever else?
Well, it's the Pound the night of. It starts off. You go to the club and then you come up the road to the Pound, and then McAllister's will be the next day. That's the kind of the Monday spot.
Right. Have you a particular celebration night?
Any night in the Pound is just.
Yeah. Have you a particular celebration night that sticks out? You have enough of them now, in fairness. You've seven in a row titles.
We do this. There's a North Antrim Fish every year as well. Usually, and that's kind of like your big, that's usually head around like June, July time, so it's last kind of night before you really knuckle down for the championship, and every year that comes around, and that's always a great night in the Pound.
It's always a very, very messy night too.
Yeah, everyone's kind of having their last go out. I remember last year's championship, I think the senior camogiers had won on the Saturday, and then the minor hurlers had won on the Sunday, and the Division 2 camogiers they had lost was the Ulster semi-final on the Sunday. I think everyone kind of went out that night because the seniors kind of, well, Christy, I don't know if we say you kind of took it easy the Saturday night, but you went for round 2 on the Sunday anyway.
Oh my word, like I remember we obviously the seniors, we all went out then after our match, and it was weird because a lot of our D2s were obviously on our senior panel, so it was really only your kind of starting 15 then that went out. So I mean, like, it was an absolute mess. Then trying to get up that next morning for the match, I to obviously drive down to, was it Armagh or Newry?
It was Armagh. Yeah.
Armagh, to try and drive down to Armagh. Like I remember jumping in the shower maybe about 10 minutes before going out, jumping into the car with my hair still wrapped in a towel, about 5 bottles of WKD with me to try and get me over. And I slept the whole way down. It just made me worse. And then got out at the match. Like I think I walked over to the wee shop. Like had a Mars bar, and I looked at Ian, and I was like, I can't watch this match. Like I'm gonna be sick. And then I remember coming onto the pitch. Then obviously after to try and like say to Eimear and all, like hard luck and all. And I was just like, I'm really not well. You're a cat. And even on the way to the Ballycastle, like then we'd always go to the Ballycastle after any matches like that. So we obviously waited then until the D2s had finished there and came instead of going after our senior match. And then so we were getting a lift to the Ballycastle then, and I had to stop mid road en route to pull the car over and be sick in the middle of Ballymena.
I mind you sitting in the Ballycastle that evening with the head in your hands, and you were like, I'm not doing it, and I was like, well, I'm going out to drown my sorrows tonight, like, so if you're any kind of a friend, you'll be coming too to help me, so pull yourself together, woman.
That's a dedicated goalkeeper.
2 hours later, I was on top of about 2 hours later, I was on top of the
sofas in the pound.
In the pound, so it was alright.
Gee, that sounds like a cracking.
What a couple of WK or bottles will do for you.
That sounds like a cracking weekend.
A vodka WKD,
yeah. You certainly made the most of that weekend, anyway, by the sound of it. So.
You have your eyes in your nose. So.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, if I suppose talking of nightclubs and going out, there's usually a bit of war afterwards. But for the two of you, who would be most likely to break the hurl across somebody else? Now I know Christine has history of red cards.
I was good.
With the red cards,
you've seen her red.
Singular red cards, we'll say. Is there either of you more likely to break a hurl off the other one?
Oh, definitely Christine. I'm the one that's going around trying to gather everyone up at night.
Okay, so we've established Christine's name here. It's not going down.
So you'll usually find me. You'll usually find me and Christine at the bar singing.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'll take that instead. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. The last question I've asked everybody, and then there's like a quick fire round I'll try on the two of you if you have time to have a go with it. So the big question is, the last one's always a huge question, and I actually found someone who can answer this with a better answer last night. Eimear, have you ever won anything in the club lotto?
No, the only thing I've ever won, there's this Glenbush Fun Day, and I'm very unlucky. I never win anything, and the only thing I've ever won, I think I got like 3rd prize in the Glenbush Fun Day one year, and I won a sheep, and that has been about it. That has been about my winning career. Okay,
that's up there with my favourite story. That's good. Christine, what about you? Oh, Christine's gone again.
She's away again.
She really doesn't like us.
That's her way of escaping by saying she doesn't do the club lotto.
Okay, we'll ask her when she comes back on it. If she comes back on it, see what she says. So that's so funny. Yeah, your third place winning the sheep is pretty good. Yeah, I had my first winner last night actually. Oh, here she comes again. We'll ask her if she plays.
Well, no. Dad would be the treasurer in the club as well, so they're always doing the lotto, and you maybe get pulled in a week to. That's not your way of escaping. And you maybe get pulled in to take out to lift out the numbers or whatever. And I think I've got 2 of my numbers a few times, but I never get the 3.
Okay, so a sheep I think is just as good though. So Christine,
yeah.
what about you, Christine?
Never won anything in the lotto, but I do remember winning, and I think it maybe was the club, we would do the first prize is you win All Ireland tickets, and then the second prize, so first prize you get to pick either hurling or football, and then the second prize is obviously the other ticket, and then it's like 2 nights in Croke Park Hotel. So I remember I think I came second. I was only like P6 or P7 at the time. And I came so I won the second prize. So obviously in Loughgiel, the first tickets it's gonna be the hurling that goes. Yeah. So you're left with the Gaelic. So I never really thought much of it, but we never actually went to the Gaelic match. And then I remember asking maybe like 2-3 years down the line, like what had happened, because then my mommy and daddy, they took me and my brother. Then so I think they took the overnight stay and then just took us along. Because we were only kids at the time. And then I remember asking a couple of years down the line, like, whatever happened to those tickets? We definitely won tickets for that. And so they were sold to somebody on the street. And I think we went to Dublin Zoo or something that day instead.
Brilliant. So you've Eimear, your question has been answered here. It sounds like she does play the club lotto, so
I think she's just saying that to escape.
Okay, yeah. No, we just had a quick chat while you were gone there, Christine, about whether you play or not. Eimear was wondering if you played. So,
I
did. You do by the sounds of it. Yeah, we'll take your word for it. The one I had Zach Maradi, the Leitrim hurler, on the other night, and he won $4,500 in the Thomas Davis Lotto in Tala. He's the first winner I've ever found, which I'm pretty impressed. The highlights, though, definitely in second place is a sheep. So I will. I
don't think my sheep sold for that amount, though.
It's a good enough prize. It's a prize with a difference, we'll call it. So,
yes.
Yeah. If the two of you are happy enough, yeah, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, there's a girl, Bruna McIntyre. She always seems to be brave and lucky on those club lotos too. She seems to have won a good few times on it.
She must be putting in with the right people there.
Okay, so she's the cheat of the lot, all right? We'll write that down. She's the cheat. Deadly. Eimear, I'll start with you first. So these are just quick fire questions. Now, I say quick fire. A lot of people have had to go. I'm not sure. Can I pass on that one? Because some of them need a bit more thinking than others. Because the podcast is called The Loaf of Bread, after Paddy O'Shea's famous speech to my county Westmeath down here in 2004. This one on the theme of bread, this round is called Cutting Off the Crust Because You're a Little Shit Who Won't Eat Them for Your Mother. So I think it's a very, very easy and apt name to remember. So Eimear, your first one then is, what's your favourite ground you've ever played on?
Oh, it would have to be Fallerhaley, Loughgiel.
Love it. Least favourite ground?
Yeah. Least favourite. Oh, I don't know what the least favourite. I think the worst I've ever played on, we went to the Fila in Galway in, what was it, 2011 maybe? And I remember there was like torrential rain down there, and we had landed on the Saturday to Sarsfield's pitch, and they were draining it with bins. The water was just lying ever. It was, and we were wearing these like white socks, and they were just down around your ankles. They were completely black. Everything I think was thrown out in the end after you came up the road after Fila. I think that was probably the worst pitch we've ever played on. Okay,
I'll take that one. So yeah, what's your favourite holiday, favourite travel place that you've been to?
Oh, New York.
New York, cool. Would you be short puck out or drive it long?
Oh, get it as far away from me as possible.
Yeah, you're the first goalkeeper on, and I kind of assumed that you might say that. Yeah. As a supporter, would you prefer the tea and ham sandwiches from the car or the pub? I think we could go for the pub. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a choice of one here from the famous GAA choice of hats, flags, scarves, or headbands. You can pick one.
Oh, the flags look the best when you hold them up in the photos at the end of the match, so we'll go for the flags. Okay,
that's the first. I think you're the first person to pick flags. Are you more of a Marty Morrissey or Des Cahill fan?
Oh, Des.
Des, okay. Who is your favourite pundit on any TV show, male or female? Your favourite pundit?
I like listening to Anthony Daly. I think he's great.
Okay, take that. If you could swap your county manager in the morning, then you had a choice of Angela and Anne Downey from Kilkenny or Brian Cody from Kilkenny. Which would you pick?
Oh, I'm going to go for Angela and Anne.
Okay, take that. What's the funniest or strangest thing that's ever been shouted at you from the sideline? I've had some interesting ones of these, believe me.
I would never get an awful lot shouted at me. I think people maybe be a bit fragile there in nets. But I think every time before I go out for a match, or like if I'm on the phone or that with Dad, he'll always be like, make sure and keep them out. Make sure and keep them out. Like I'm like, oh, look, okay, well, I'll try.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. If there was a GAA transfer market in the morning and you could swap one player on your club team for anybody in the country, which full forward would you get to replace Christine Laverty?
Sure. Full forward's an easy position to fill. Sure, it's not that you're standing dead.
No, you can replace anybody. You don't have to replace Christine. She'll be sent off anyway. It's fine.
Oh yeah, she'll be in the sideline anyway. Yeah. I'll go Niamh Mallon.
Okay, good choice. Yeah.
As much as that's hard to after the All-Ireland final, but we'll
you go for it anyway. The best hurl maker. Your favorite hurl maker.
Oh, I like Martin hurls up in Randallstown.
Okay. Studs or moles?
Studs.
Good. Sweeper or no sweeper? Or how many sweepers do you need?
It depends. Whenever I'm looking to get a puck out, I like to have someone up there that I can head to. Like, if we're playing sweeper, there's no one in the forward line to take it.
Okay.
No, I'd go no sweeper.
No sweeper. Your favourite sport outside of the GAA?
That's a tough one.
Drinking doesn't count. Yeah. Okay, tennis. Good.
Yeah.
And your last question, Eimear, and then you're off the hook. The best GAA player, in your opinion, in your lifetime?
Tommy Walsh. I go with Tommy Walsh. Now, if the family hear that, they'll be all like, "You should have said Liam Watson.
You'll be locked out of the house for saying Tommy Walsh.
Yeah, I'll be put out of the parish.
Brilliant. Christine, same questions for you. You had the advantage because Eimear was the guinea pig. So, Christine, your favourite ground?
I would also have to say Fowler Haley.
Okay.
No place at home.
Yeah, that's funny actually you say that, because I've had a couple of people who've picked their own ground as the worst ground. So what's your least favourite ground?
Probably have to be Armagh athletic grounds. We went a couple of years before our Ulster final, and a couple of the Ulster finals that we've been there, and it's basically been like playing on a beach.
Is it like a deep end shallow end type job?
No, it's just more sand grass sometimes.
Sounds about right. Your favourite holiday destination?
I'd have to go in New York as well.
Short puck out or drive it long?
Drive it long. Get it down to me.
Okay.
Get it down to here.
Good.
The magic maker.
As a supporter, are you the tea and ham sandwiches or the pre-match pub?
And the pub Weimer.
Okay. I should have changed that question. How many pubs? I should have asked, really, shouldn't I? Hats, flags, scarves, or headbands?
I'd be fond of a headband.
Okay. I think that is. I don't think it's a first, but nobody has chosen like really flags or headbands. Marty Morrissey or Des?
Marty.
Favorite pundit, male or female? Any sports show?
Eddie Brennan.
Oh, okay. You can change the two boys in charge of Antrim and replace them with the Downey sisters or Brian Cody.
Brian Cody.
I feel you're just picking the opposite answer to Eimear just to kind of annoy her.
She's just to be thrown.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What's the funniest or strangest thing that's ever been shouted at you from the sideline?
One of our coaches must have been a good 2-3 years ago shouted at me, and my name then I got a name from it as well. I was told I was standing there mitching all day long, and I got called Mitcher for the rest of the season, and if he sees me he still calls me that.
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. If there was a GAA transfer market in the morning, who would you replace Eimear with?
Ooh.
She's very, very keenly looking at the camera here now.
I had my answer set up for just anybody, but
it doesn't have to be Eimear. You can replace anybody on the team. I
couldn't replace Eimear. I'd get Chloe Drain in, though. No baller. He's annoying. she'd love a big Loughgiel shirt on her.
Okay, fair enough. I thought you might replace Roisin and just get rid of her since she's no good apparently. So,
you couldn't listen to her on the sideline.
Fair enough.
No.
If there was who's the best hurl maker that you prefer?
Brian Walsh.
Okay. Studs or molds?
Molds.
Molds. Sweeper or no sweeper?
No sweeper.
Sweeper. Favorite sport? Yeah, go on ahead.
Depends. Sorry?
Yeah, go on ahead.
I suppose it just depends, but no sweeper down with us. If we were, but I prefer sweeper, in our backs.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take that. Yep. Your favorite sport outside of the GAA?
I wouldn't really, to be fair, watch a while of other sports. But I've started there watching a bit of. Well, it's not on anymore. NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to, learn about it.
Join the club. So was I. Have you got a team you're following then?
No, not really. I was kind of just trying to learn what the actual sport is. But
okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll take that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and in your lifetime, who's been the best GAA player? See, will you get kicked out of the parish as well for your answer?
Henry Stephan.
Oh, two Kenny. God, the two of you are going to be kicked out of that parish very quickly. No, good choices. I can't argue with them in fairness. So, guys, look, it's been cracking having you on. You're some crack and doing your club proud. And I hope when the season eventually gets back that get to see a few games and go to a few games. And just want to wish you the best of luck for everything that's coming ahead. And Eimear, best of luck in goals, and Christine, best of luck with the suspensions. And I hope, I hope you get on great. And thanks so much for coming on. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. I'll let you know when this is going up. It'll be a few weeks because I've done all my interviews the last 2 weeks with midterm and teaching from home. So it'll be a little while, but I'll give you a shout when it's going up. And if you can share it around on social media, all the better. That'll be great. So, but yeah, guys, you're stars. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I'll talk to you again soon.
Best luck.
Yeah. Take it easy. Good luck.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Coming up next week on the Loaf of Bread GA podcast, we cut into our next slice.
No, sure, we went over that. We won't say names of place or anything, but we went over that year anyway, and we got this lovely hotel that we thought we were staying in, of course. And when we arrived there, it was like, I don't know what it was like. I don't know, Aoibhinn, can you remember?
Yeah, well, it certainly wasn't a high quality accommodation anyway, but we did manage to beat London that year, so I suppose
take that as a win.
On Slice 18 next week, I have the pleasure of welcoming 3 members of the Carlow ladies football team. Sportsday's Team of the Year 2020 star Cliona Ní Sé, Carlow ladies captain 2021 Aoibhinn Gilmartin, and the 2019 Team of the Year Division 4 star and Carlow legend Edel Hayden. We chat everything from the trips to London and unexpected accommodation, the loss of the Kathleen and Fran Mullins from the county board after 40 years, my terrible pronunciations of the places in Carlow, the club rivalries between the clubs, and how Aoibhinn's Twitter push for Cliona's Team of the Year award went. These ladies are incredible representatives of their club and their county. But until next week, I'll leave you with this quote from the Irish actor Joe Lynch. I love Cork so much that if I caught one of their hurlers in bed with my missus, I'd tiptoe downstairs and make him a cup of tea. Until next week, Slánagí.